What's good, YouTube? Today we're skipping all the digital stuff and we're jumping right into the analog with my everyday carry as a film photographer in 2023. So without any hesitation, let's get right into it. First things first, we have the bag. This is the Peak Design 3-liter everyday sling. So I want to walk you through a couple things that I really like about this bag. But I also want to make it clear that I'm 100% a bag person. I'm willing to spend a bit more money on a bag, and I really appreciate when a bag does all the things that I want it to. And this bag does that. First is that it's just very thoughtful, and I think this probably applies to most of Peak Design's products, but there's just so many things about this bag that you could tell they really thought about the end user and whether or not they would appreciate those kind of features. I don't feel like there's a lot of fluff to it. There's a lot of features to it, but it's not fluff. It's stuff that I actually want to use, which is really, really nice. I also want to tell you a little about my theory for this bag, I guess. You know what, I can explain this better with the prop. So previously what I've been doing is whenever I travel with my camera gear, I would put it in this yellow ape case thing. And this works really well. It's just a little padded container with a drawstring top and a divider on the inside that you can't really see right now. But yeah, this works really good, and I like the idea of it, and I like the idea of tucking away my camera gear in a separate container and then just shoving in my backpack and being good to go. But I wanted something that I could carry alone as a standalone device as well. So that's where this came in. This is about the same size, as you can see. About the same size, carries the same amount of stuff, I think, but I can also wear this like an everyday sling. So the objective here was, when I'm carrying a big backpack, something like a 50 liter, 40 liter, I can just shove this on the top or somewhere in there, and then just be able to take it out and use it as either a personal item for a flight, or just to start carrying around my photo gear. So yeah, that was a pretty long explanation, but pretty much I just wanted the ape case to also be something that I could carry as a standalone bag for my camera gear. I also want to make note of this bag being at least somewhat weather resistant. I've taken this thing out in the rain quite a few times and never had any trouble at all. There is some kind of weather sealed zippers, I don't know to what extent, but there is some effort on waterproofing there. Well, I actually decided that I would try and take this out this bag today on a very wet and rainy day in Central Park, and I would say it's held up pretty well. The contents of the bag is dry entirely, the paper of my notebook is still intact, and my camera's still working just fine, I think. So I would say the water resistance is pretty good. And as you can see, my rain jacket is completely soaked. Now this bag only really has a few compartments. The first one I'll mention is this outside zipper here. And this outside zipper is actually really tight. All I carry in here is just a little bit of cash, and that's it. Because getting anything in and out of here is kind of a pain with how tight it is. There's also a little clip right here. I think you can put a capture clip on there, but I don't own one of those. And there's also these 4 little hooks on the outside, and that is for carrying a tripod, but I only do that on pretty rare occasions. All right, finally got this thing in the mail here. This is sick. Remember this spot on the Peak Design bag where you can put those capture clips? I'm gonna try and put this right here, and hopefully that'll look really sweet. All right, it took 10 minutes, but I finally got it, and this looks so good. I'm so excited about this. You guys don't even know. Enough my interjection, carry on with the video. So 9 times out of 10, at least, if I'm carrying around this bag, it's looking just like this with this same stuff on the inside. So let's actually get to what's in here. And the first thing is we'll jump right into the good stuff. I have a Canon QL17G3. This is a 35mm rangefinder camera that I bought off eBay back in February of 2022, and I've been using this thing, feels like non-stop since I bought it. I want to talk about rangefinders real quick for a second, and the reason I bought a rangefinder in the first place is because I wanted these full manual controls, but I also wanted a camera that was pretty compact, and honestly, this thing feels like about as close as you can get to a point-and-shoot film camera without actually being a point-and-shoot and having those full manual controls. I know Leicas aren't exactly big cameras, but this thing's even smaller than a Leica, and I really appreciate just how compact it is and how good it feels to take this camera with me just about everywhere I go. And the best way that I can describe this camera is honestly just capable. It has a 40mm f1.7 lens, and it feels like as long as I have some faith in the stock that I'm using inside of here, it feels like there's always a photo to take, whether I'm outside or in nature or in the streets. and also because the f1.7 aperture lets me soak in all the light that a low light film stock might need. So yeah, I love this thing. Of course, it doesn't get the hyper perfect, super detailed images that my digital camera does, but it really creates images that are satisfying to look at to me, and I think that's all I really want out of it. Now there's a couple things that I want to point out about this camera lens bag combo, whatever. First of all, I thought that by shoving this camera in this bag, I would accidentally press the shutter on this thing, but this shutter actually takes a little bit of actuation force, and that's never happened to me, which is nice. I haven't wasted any shots in that way. I also want to point out that on the front, I have a step-up lens. So this is actually a 48mm diameter lens, and my 24mm lens for my Sony is a 49mm diameter lens. Yeah, so, but now I can use any of the same filters that I would use on my 24mm for my Sony on this camera as well, which is just really convenient because those are the two lenses that I'm going to most often. Oh, I guess this is a good time to point out that this isn't like a Leica in the sense that you can remove the lenses. This is a fixed 40mm 1.7, so the lens that's on here, this does not come off. This is the whole setup. And then let's talk about the really nice camera strap. This is from Clever Supply Co. But yeah, this is a leather camera strap, and I usually just wear it like this, just kind of around the shoulder. It's not in the way, it's actually out of the way, and then as soon as I need it, bang, ready to take a shot, put it away. The strap is just so comfortable to wear that I feel like the camera's always on me, and it's never in the way, but it's always accessible. Clever Supply Co. makes some super comfortable camera straps. I'll have them linked in the description. You should definitely check it out. And of course I'm shooting film, so the film stock is always changing. But right now I have this guy in here, the CineStill 800T. I actually bought this initially because I wanted to shoot some Christmas lights with it, so I got a few shots of that, and I'm working my way through the rest of the roll now. Hopefully that'll be done by the end of the month, maybe early February. We'll see, but I'm excited to see how these photos turn out. I also forgot to show you guys what the bag looks like fully loaded, but usually I have my film camera in this side, and then all my other stuff in here. And then there's also another little zipper pocket in here, and these two little corner pockets. So naturally, like anyone else, I carry my iPhone with me everywhere I go. I use the iPhone SE. This is the 2020 edition. That's really bright. And I love the iPhone SE. I feel like I'm one of its biggest proponents. I feel like it does everything that I want my phone to do with a pretty capable camera. And the only consequence just feels like a rough battery life. And honestly, I'm okay with that because I can always charge my phone, it feels like, but I love this phone and I just feel like it's a steal. I bought this for $250 with 256 gigs of storage from Walmart in 2020. Another big reason for me using this phone is that I'm just a small person. I have small hands, and I do not know how people my size use the massive candy bar style phones that we're so accustomed to. Like this fits my hand. A 6.7 inch iPhone does not fit my hand. I cannot use that comfortably. Let me let you know a little secret. When you tell people that you have an iPhone SE, nobody wants to take photos on your phone. Whenever people are taking group photos, they ask who has the newest phone or something like that. That's just how it goes. And then when you just say, I have an iPhone SE, you get some looks. You never have someone spamming the shutter button on your phone and you have to send out 1,000 photos and delete 3,000 others. It's actually super nice. There's also a fingerprint scanner, no Face ID here, which I really like personally. I don't know, man. I feel like there's just so much good stuff about this phone that you don't get in other iPhones, low-key. It just feels like the right phone for me, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Anyways, the phone case on here is from a company called Pella. These phone cases are super overpriced. They're just pretty much a rubbery case. The whole pitch is that they're compostable and stuff like that, and you can just throw them into a landfill and they'll degrade naturally, which is cool and all, but these phone cases are $60. And the print on the back was so much more washed out than it looked like online. Also, if you're looking to like really protect your phone, this is not the case for you. For me, this is just like protecting the back from bumps and scratches and stuff. I like the eco concepts. I feel like I got greenwashed a little bit. I don't know. All right, speaking of greenwashing, we got my wallet. Now this wallet is a Matt and Nat card holder, and it's very simple. It's made of vegan leather, which is essentially just plastic. As far as the product goes itself, it's actually very high quality, probably because it is mostly made of plastic, but I've had this little card holder for about 3, almost maybe 4 years now or something like that, and it looks pristine. So all I carry in here is just on one side, I keep my license, And then on the other side, I keep 2 credit cards and a Metro card. So yeah, besides this thing being the vegan leather, which is essentially just plastic, it is a pretty nice product and I like it a lot. And it is showing no signs of needing replacement anytime soon, which is cool. I guess for someone who's new to watching my channel, I'm a minimalist, so I really like carrying kind of the bare essentials, and that's really on full display with a wallet like this. So yeah, that might make some more things in here make a bit more sense. This is a little pocket notebook that I carry. This is from a company called Leuchtturm, I believe it's called. I looked up a YouTube video on how to pronounce it, so hopefully that's correct. I'm a big pen and paper guy. I always like to have a notebook of some extent on me. But yeah, this is just a little notebook for my kind of daily thoughts, musings, stuff like that, ideas. And I think the paper is a bit of a nicer quality, which I appreciate because I'm also carrying around a fountain pen. So this is a Pilot Metropolitan fountain pen. And the reason that nicer paper quality matters is because the fountain pens have a bit of a more watery ink, I think. So before I was using these pens, these Copic Multiliner SP. They're refillable, they have a metal barrel, which I really like. I like that the metal barrel feeling. They have a really fine tip. You can go all the way down to like, I think 0.03 millimeters, something like that. But they're not that comfortable for writing, which is what I was doing pretty much all of my pen use with. So I wanted something that was a little bit more comfortable, and I also didn't like how they refilled because you had to replace the nibs and you also had to replace the ink, and those were like $3 a piece or something ridiculous. So every time I'd refill this, I'm like, it's actually just cheaper to buy a plastic version of the pen and get a whole new pen every time. So I started looking into alternatives, and I wanted that metal barrel, I wanted that fine tip, and I wanted to be refillable. So what I ended up on was a fountain pen. So I looked through a bunch of fountain pens, and a lot of people said that for a beginner to fucking writing, I don't know. For someone who's new to fountain pens, this was a good entry point because it's like 20 something bucks, has a very fine tip like I like, has a metal barrel, and it's refillable. So this seemed like the perfect solution. It's cool, I like that it has a super fine point, it's comfortable to write with, and I like that it's refillable and all that. But I will say that fountain pens are finicky. Sometimes they'll just stop writing, and I don't really know why. That's a problem that I never had with this. If it stopped writing, and then I just knew that it was out of ink, and that was that. Whereas this, like, sometimes it just needs to be cleaned or something like that. So having a pen that's high maintenance is a little annoying. It's not perfect, but I think it is better than these. I'm sorry if pen talk bored you out of your goddamn mind, and if you clicked off the video, I understand. But yeah, fountain pens, they're pretty cool. Now there's not too much else in here. I carry my keys in here. Pretty self-explanatory, I don't think I need to get into that. And then I also carry chapstick. Doesn't really matter what it is, but I gotta have some kind of chapstick. The Sun Dum stuff is good though. Now, like I mentioned, there's a couple more pockets in here. We have these side pockets, and one of them I usually just leave empty. And the other, I have a Zeiss microfiber cloth. Now this could be like one of the least important products to ever have Zeiss branding on it, but I really just like how big this microfiber cloth is, and then I also just like that it's good material, it does its job well. Can't say that for every microfiber cloth that they clean stuff the way they need to. This one does, so I like it. A couple more things. We have, turn it around. This, I don't know if you can see this inside zipper right here. So in here there's these 3 little pouches, and this main compartment I just keep a USB-C to lightning, very miniature cable. So if I have to connect my iPhone to my laptop for some data transfer, or if I have to charge it and I have a USB-C charger around, this is a very elegant, tiny solution that I can carry with me at pretty much no cost of the space of this bag. And then there's these 3 little pockets in here, and they're just kind of the perfect size. So I carry an SD card in here, a backup one for my main digital camera. I don't shoot a ton, so usually this does just stay as a backup, honestly. These little pockets also like perfectly fit Nintendo Switch games, so if I want to carry a few extra games around, I can do that. And I'm also pretty often putting my Nintendo Switch in here. I read online that this thing fits a Nintendo Switch. That's just not true. Like, putting a Nintendo Switch in this way just does not fit. So you have to take off the Joy-Cons, and then I stand it in here, and then use these little pockets on the side for the Joy-Cons, which actually works pretty well, and that's usually what I do if I'm flying. Anyways, one last thing in here, and that's in this front pocket. I have a 49mm 6-stop ND filter. I don't use variable ND filters, I just use the regular ones. And like I said, I have the step-up ring on here, so this fits on here perfectly, but also fits on my digital camera as well. So that's super convenient, and if I want to just make my portraits or something a little bit darker in broad daylight on film, I can do that. And if I need to record video outside at 1/50 shutter speed, I can also do that with this. So this is an essential. This really does come everywhere with me because there's a good chance that I will need it. And I think that's everything. So that is my everyday carry as a film photographer in 2023. It's not much, as you can see. It's really just, I have my film camera for I'm taking photos, my phone for everyday stuff, and then I have a notebook for writing out ideas, drawings, whatever I need to do, and everything else is just to kind of help the mission along. So, like I said, there's not much to it, but this is real. Like, this is the stuff that I'm actually using every day as a film photographer. So, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you hanging around. If you have any questions, comments, suggestions about what I should be carrying, let me know. And if before you say I should be carrying a knife of some sort, which I don't know why the EDC folks think that I need to be carrying a knife. I really don't. I did buy this. I bought this. This is the Leatherman Style PS. This is a bladeless little Leatherman, and I mean little. Like this is tiny. Look at that, is so tiny. Everyone says you need a knife. I've never needed a knife. I seriously don't. But it has these pliers. There's a little pair of scissors in here. Pretty much any time that I've needed a knife, I don't actually need a knife. I just need something relatively sharp, and these little scissors have gotten the job done. There's also a nail file on here with a screwdriver. Very convenient. Little carabiner hook. And then this is a bottle opener somehow. I'm really dense, and I don't know how to open a bottle with this, but like, I don't know. I'll figure it out eventually. But yeah, I bought this for like 35 bucks instead of buying a multi-tool, and I can fly with this one. Although I did fly with it once, and they immediately double inspected it. So I think next time I fly with it, I'm probably just gonna hand it to them and be like, hey, you're gonna scan this. You're not gonna like the way it looks. It's not a knife. Please let me fly with this. All right, whatever. Yeah, that's what I carry as a film photographer. This is the main thing. This is what matters. This is the only thing that really matters here. Everything else is just fluff. Like my phone. Whatever. Thanks guys for watching. I appreciate it. See ya.